So the $1 million question for us is how to make sure that people persona buy more Google merch in Google merchandise store. We'll brainstorm our way throughout the funnel, starting with the top of the funnel. So we'll discuss channels a little bit, how persona gets aware that the brand, this store exists, how do we just like generate traffic to the store, and later on we'll move towards more delicate stages. So let's hit it off with something that is easy, a little bit easier to do with awareness channels. So Yura and I have been diving into analytics. That has been crazy. And so far we learned that the majority of traffic in the store right now is either organic, so pure brand awareness per se, or from AdWords. So these are two acquisition channels that apparently work very well for them. What was finding of your external research?
Well, recently the big Google hardware event happened, and I
Mhm.
noticed that generated a whole wave of reviews from traditional media outlets like CNET or TechCrunch, and also a lot of social media activity.
Mhm.
Um, I find that what happens with a lot of people is that what they'll do is they will wait to buy things until this like new version comes out.
Uh-huh,
Mhm.
okay.
And so and so what they'll say is, and I actually had a specific word that this guy used that I thought was interesting. I think he said that they'll hold out. Yeah, they say they'll hold out. So people hold out until a big event and then they buy. So there's something there to that.
That makes a lot of sense. Like also with Apple, it's sort of this purchase cycle when they have those developer conferences with cool product launches. And of course, you don't want to buy a new iPhone in August because you know that in
Remember,
September or
yeah, the
October,
launch is
something
happening.
huge will come out. So yeah, thank you so much for this input. Here I wrote ads, as we discussed before, then events leveraged by PR and social media. But what you
Mhm.
said make a lot of sense also in terms of external events. So not only Google brands that, but as I'm doing this, I'm programming people. I'm imprinting brand to their brains. So, for example, oh, you're not very Gary Vee t-shirt today,
No, no,
right?
no.
But if you're
Yeah,
wearing
yeah,
Kiesel,
yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
the
What a
crazy.
nice,
Yeah.
what a nice thing. So that would be like a little bit of a non-conventional PR, just like to see people from companies that you kind of like that are in the same cluster as you wearing those stuff gets you inspired.
Well,
That
then
happens.
let me interject here a little bit, Maya, because I know that Yure was just recording a podcast of his own talking about influencer marketing.
Yeah.
So I know that Google is an enormous company, but I mean, I wonder if actually creating cool Google merch or some way of influencer marketing would be interesting.
Yeah, I think this could be interesting
Nice.
because I was just going to mention this because actually person are buying what they are seeing, so they need social proof
Totally.
because when someone wants to buy a product, they don't want to be the first to buy it, right? And you
Hmm.
actually when you see a celebrity or influencer on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, LinkedIn, you actually build the trust when you see someone's wearing Google t-shirt or something like that. So I think a good strategy here would be actually to find 5 or 10 local influencers, send them your Google merchandise for t-shirts, different accessories, hoodies, and to make them take a photo or video and post them on social media or on YouTube, and then just build the branding. This could actually generate so much traffic.
All right. I know that we have a lot of ideas here,
Yeah.
and that happens all the time. So people
Yeah,
have
that's
a lot
good
of
in the
ideas
first
at the
phase.
top
Yeah.
of the funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to revenue maximization, you end up by having three or four. So if you're all right, we could move towards acquisition.
Cool. Let's do it, Maya. Yeah, you lead.
acquisition is this wonderful stage of the funnel when you can actually identify a person. So if you are an e-commerce, acquisition moment would happen as soon as you get like somebody's email. So this happens on a landing page, and how you acquire a customer is actually the most important step and the first step of being able to talk directly to them. So this is sign up for free trial, this is create account, this is put your email in order to download something. These are the stuff that we are calling acquisition. And you just go ahead and say how to capture an email on a landing page.
Yeah,
this
Jure, go
you
for it.
master for 5 years.
Yeah, actually, what first pop in my mind was actually when you were talking about some, let's say, limited edition t-shirts, right? What about if we would just create something like a pre-order or something like a waiting list to actually, before we launch, before we open the sales for one t-shirt, how about just join the waiting list and just leave an email and join the waiting list and get the email with this kind of tactic?
Waiting
what do you
list
think?
is a nice one.
Great.
It's such a great.
Yeah, or also if one t-shirt is sold out or something like that, how about leave an email there? Or maybe if you leave an email, we give you an extra discount for, let's say, when you buy 1 or 2 t-shirts, or you can buy a package of t-shirts.
I cannot write that quickly.
Sorry for that.
It's cool. Let's maybe move to the next stage of the funnel, which is called activation. And if we would be, for example, selling apps or software as a service, activation would be as soon as somebody does an action that really demonstrates value of the product. So as long as you have this wow moment that you say, oh, I get it, this is what this product does for me, I can use it now, it makes sense. And for apps, it would be something like go and play your first game if it is a gaming app. If you are, for example, building personas, that would happen when you would actually finish the onboarding flow. So yes, now I can finally use this tool. But for e-commerce, it's a little bit different and tricky. Some people say that activation happens as soon as you add a product and end in the cart.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
But others say that activation is actually the first purchase. Mm-hmm. And why I specifically like this idea, as also students will see in tutorials, is because we just saw in Google Analytics that 75% of their revenue comes from returning visitors. So people are willing to spend a lot of money for customer acquisitions because they know that lifetime value of the customer is higher and there are repetitive purchases.
If the goal is to get a purchase to get an activation, maybe we should make that barrier pretty low. Maybe we should have some offers of some, even something that's just like maybe some really simple flat rate offers, like a sticker for $1. Something where you're just like, boom, it's $1, done.
These for $2. And these are the easy targets.
Yes.
So to say, like, how to say purchasing baits, how would we name that? Oh, special offers. Got it. That's a good one. For activation. Okay, so the other things would be to put like an email, to send an email when you find a customer that abandoned the cart. That's a good one. These are like the standard ones. But I really have to invite you guys into the pre-last section, which is called retention. And that means that a customer actually sticks with you. And in e-commerce, it is very, very important because in first purchase, you are usually creating a loss or a break even with cost per acquisition that we have, especially with advertising at the moment.
When you're building a community, it's really important to actually listen to them and make them involved in your, let's say, production or something like that. Yeah. So I think a great idea here would be also to ask all the customers that bought the t-shirt or something like that to actually include them in brainstorming for new products or something like that, or that
They
from
vote,
all,
for example,
yeah,
what should
or
our next product
from
be
all
or
the
something like that.
designers that actually bought a product, that one is included in the designing of the new
Design
hoodie or
competition
something
is
like that.
amazing as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. You're right. In terms of revenue.
Yeah.
In terms of revenue,
Yeah.
take us again to show me the money.
Yeah, you.
I would actually build a loyalty program where you actually have like 4 levels, and when you actually buy the product for the first time, you become like a Google starter, and for every next order you will get, let's say, 5% off. And when you make, let's say, 2 or 3 more sales, you actually move from starter to, let's say, Google Star or something like that. So then you have like 10% of the product, and also when you become for on the next level, maybe Google can also send you a free package that is just limited edition for the Google starters. You can even buy it online. You can just get it if you move from one stage to another, and then you have 10%. The next one is like Google Superstar, then you have 15%, and also get another package. And the last one is Google Ambassador, where you actually get a huge package of 10 limited edition products, and that's it.
So the next stage would be to prioritize those ideas, and we'll do it in a separate tutorial based on ICE score suggested by Sean Ellis from growthhackers.com, the godfather of growth hacking. So just not to keep this idea, on a whiteboard and never do them. What matters is what you do. So based on ranking, we will prioritize experiments in next stage.